It's that time of year again, the time when we let hype take the wheel, and where major publishers put on a show both for our entertainment and for the sake of our gaming calendar. Following State of Play, it's the summer of gaming, with one major showcase after another, starting with the Summer Game Fest Showcase on June 5th. It's followed by the Future Games Show Summer Showcase on June 6th, and a double feature on June 7th, with the Xbox Games Showcase and PC Gaming Show. There's also the possibility of a new Nintendo Direct to outline what's coming this year, and potentially beyond. But here are our picks for some of the biggest announcements that you could see, and it all begins with the return of a beloved franchise. Gears of War Eday release date. Say what you will about Xbox, all caps or not, they know that fans are hungry for more Gears of War. Hence, the dedicated Direct for Eday will feature its first ever gameplay and other details. Since it's allegedly out in the second half of 2026, all eyes are on the Coalition to finally announce a release date, which is looking to be September based on recent announced sponsorships. Now, either way, it's been far too long without the king of cover-based shooters, and we're looking forward to beginning a fight anew. Fable's major new look. Now, this one is interesting, especially since Xbox has already confirmed a delay to February 2027. So what could this major new look hold? Perhaps a walkthrough of a quest, the return of a beloved character, showcasing the extent of consequences that are possible with increasingly hilarious results. It may end up just showcasing another well-known British actor in the game, but hey, we'll take it if there's solid gameplay. Halo Campaign Evolved release date. Halo Studios has been rather mum on this remake, which is odd for several reasons. Yes, it recently confirmed there is no in-game store, but that's pretty much it. There's been no new gameplay since it's revealed at the last Halo World Championship, and it's reportedly launching next month. Will marketing kick into overdrive after the showcase? Well, time will tell, but from every angle, it seems fans won't have to wait long to go hands-on. Phantom Blade Zero gets new trailer. Launching in September, being in the intense final stages of development according to the developer, only one other big showcase until its launch. So if there was ever a time to start marketing for Phantom Blade Zero, it would be at Summer Games Fest. As always, the question of what could be showcased always pops up. Obviously, you want to get the people excited without spoiling too much. Alternatively, if S-Game wanted to drop that demo promised long ago, next week wouldn't be the worst occasion to do so. Grand Theft Auto 6 Trailer 3. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick has said that marketing won't begin until summer, clarifying that it won't be for another few weeks. However, it doesn't exclude the possibility of a new trailer, and it certainly doesn't stop Rockstar from opening pre-orders. Could it stop short of the latter and release a new teaser, hyping up a reveal in the coming weeks? Well, sure. Does it need to do any of that in the upcoming showcases? Probably not, but it would be cool. Either way, expect to hear a lot more about this title this month, even if it's when you least expect it. Onimusha Way of the Sword release date. We've seen more than enough gameplay, know more than enough of the story. So if the long-awaited Onimusha revival doesn't get a launch date at some point in the coming days, I just might lose it. Granted, the developer could always pull the patented tune into the online special program later in June for more. But like Pragmata at last year's Game Awards, it's probably just going to cut through the noise and announce a date with pre-orders. Monster Hunter Wilds expansion reveal. Now, this is a classic example of potentially debuting a trailer and revealing more information later. Monster Hunter Wilds expansion is confirmed to receive more details this summer, and given the franchise's history at Keighley's shows, a title reveal seems very likely. We could then see a proper Monster Hunter showcase next month or in September, right before the so-called summer period ends. OD update. It's been a year since Hideo Kojima took the Summer Game Fest stage, promoting Death Stranding 2. With how close he is to Keighley, and the fact that there hasn't been any update on its next title, OD, since September 2025, a new teaser would hardly be surprising. Then again, since Xbox Game Studios is the publisher, it may even appear at the upcoming Xbox Showcase. The real question is, will Kojima attend both? It's certainly not impossible, even if it would be excessive. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis release date reveal or delay. It doesn't really hit you just how many games could be released between June and October, simply to avoid competing, which is already a strong word, against Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm not sure that Amazon Game Studios would want to take the risk, even after announcing a 2026 release window, and rumors of a delay to 2027 may feed into that. An appearance certainly seems on the cards, but for now, it's a toss-up on whether it launches this year or next. Resident Evil Code Veronica remake announcement. Rumors have circulated about this remake since June 2024. Resident Evil Requiem was announced in June 2025 at the Summer Game Fest, no less. With a supposed launch in the first half of 2027, odds are looking good that Resident Evil could steal the show once more with the long-awaited Code Veronica remake. Get your welcome back Claire Redfield signs ready in advance. Virtua Fighter Crossroads reveal. Call it a mistake, an accident, or just an honest-to-goodness leak, the new Virtua Fighter's gameplay has seemingly leaked. The final name is apparently Virtua Fighter Crossroads, and admittedly, it looks quite good. Is the developer saving the announcement for a big show like Summer Game Fest, especially since it was announced at the Game Awards 2024? Possibly. It's not like there's any other shows that it could fit in. Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition announcement. Add another game to the potential Nintendo Direct as the developer seeks to bring Sonic Frontiers to Nintendo Switch 2 at long last. While previous rumors suggested a rewritten story, the Definitive Edition is allegedly closer to a standard port, complete with all updates, except that it should run better than the Switch 1 version. Again, if it's indeed real, expect an announcement and a release date soon. Metro 2039 gets more gameplay. After its surprising reveal, and the even more surprising first look, Metro 2039 seems poised to appear at the Xbox Games Showcase. Not for the sake of filling up more time, mind you, rather to showcase more of the horrors that players will allegedly face. I'm skeptical about a release date, especially since 4A Games still has time to narrow things down and decide whether it wants to fall on the 2026 or 2027 side of its winter release window. But stranger things have happened at an Xbox show. State of Decay 3 gameplay and updates. Meet one of the stranger things. I know, Undead Labs is conducting closed tests, and it's seemingly making progress after years and years of nothing. And while it could outright say 2027 as a release window, something tells me the team will simply provide new gameplay, an update from recent tests, and the assurance of providing more opportunities in the coming months. Playing things safe before it really decides to commit to something. Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 release date. Launching this summer and already unveiling everything that sets it apart from the original, Aliens Fireteam Elite seems like a lock for Summer Games Fest. A release date seems a given, but it feels like something else is needed. A little je ne sais quoi. Maybe a brand new big bad that would replace the Queen as a major threat. It's hard to say, but it wouldn't be surprising if it arrives as soon as next month. Valor Mortis release date. A first-person Souls-like set in an alternate 19th century Europe focused on fighting Napoleon's zombie soldiers after returning from the dead. Developed by the team behind Ghost Runner 2? Man, sign us up. And more importantly, give us a release date, since it's already confirmed for fall. That may end up closer to October than November for, well, obvious reasons, but I'm more interested to see if a demo or an open beta ends up happening, especially with all the closed testing done so far. Ananta trailer and launch window. Jeff Keighley showcases have a thing for such games. See the frequent appearances by ZZZ, Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, and more recently, Arkanight's Endfield. Ananta is interesting because it forgoes a character system while retaining the urban open-world fantasy we've seen thus far. It may not launch this year, but with most of its competition, particularly NTE, already released, a new trailer at least seems a given. Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thief release date. What should have been rated recently by Peggy, but Bandai Namco's next Ace Combat. Smarter minds will probably be able to tell you why its pre-release date is May 30th on Xbox Series X and S, PS5 and PC, but it's further proof of a potential release announcement. And honestly, with how good Wings of Thieves has looked, both the first-person cutscenes and the actual combat, we're hoping it drops sooner than later. The Dusk Bloods release month. Say what you will about its recent multiplayer focus, From Software generally does a good job convincing millions to try its next game regardless. The same will hopefully hold for the Dusk Bloods, and with rumors of a launch later this year, and not this summer apparently, it could appear at the alleged Nintendo Direct set for mid-June. Maybe Elden Ring Tarnished Edition will shadow drop in the meantime. New 3D Mario announcement. Nintendo isn't above announcing big names a good while before they actually launch, just as it has no qualms holding back finished titles, waiting for the right launch window. And with insider Nate the Hate claiming that a new 3D Mario would be announced for 2027, that supposed mid-June Direct isn't the worst place to announce it, especially after the success of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Pokémon Wind and Waves release window. Perhaps one of the safest possible bets for the Direct is the release date announcement for Pokémon Wind and Waves, especially with listings spotted on Amazon Germany. If it follows, say, Pokémon Legends Arceus, then January or February 2027 aren't outside of the realm of possibility. Again, a safe bet, unless Nintendo goes in another direction, like saving the info for a Pokémon showcase in July. Hollow Knight Silksong Sea of Sorrow gameplay. Jeff Keighley loves his Silksong teases, but that was for one of the most anticipated games of all time. What are the chances the trend repeats at this year's showcase, revealing the first gameplay for Sea of Sorrow, its free DLC? Well, probably low, but don't forget about Xbox. They've featured Silksong on numerous occasions, and would probably jump at the opportunity to feature the title on their own showcase, complete with a release date. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra update. Game delays can be funny, especially when something like Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, the next big game from Uncharted creator Amy Hennig, announced a delay before early 2026. That doesn't mean 2027, but at this rate, with very little to actually show for it, we wouldn't be surprised if it appears with a new trailer confirming it's skipping 2026 entirely, which is fine, but you'd have to expect a closer look at the game at some point. Star Wars Zero Company release date or delay. Star Wars crossed with XCOM sounds like a dream come true, and based on previews, it makes for an excellent tactical strategy experience. But there's otherwise been relative silence, not even a peep during this year's May the 4th. If it's meeting that 2026 release window, then a new trailer at either Xbox Games Showcase or Summer Games Fest is possible. Then again, EA could choose not to foot the bill and just drop these details at some random time. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 title reveal. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was first announced during the original 25th anniversary celebration livestream in June 2022. So close enough to the summer of gaming at the time, but still no show. However, its gameplay trailer would appear at the Summer Games Fest in 2023, followed by another trailer at the Game Awards, and so on. With director Naoki Hamaguchi already claiming more than 40 playthroughs and promising to share more updates on the overall project than ever before this year, a Part 3 reveal, if not a release window, then perhaps its name seems very likely. Resonance, a Plague Tale Legacy release date. Oh, look, another game that appeared at last year's Summer Game Fest with a release window of 2026. Asobo Studio offered a substantial update last April, confirming final tweaks, last recording sessions, and closing notes of the score, and much more as it focuses on refining the prequel. It's been 4 years since A Plague Tale Requiem, yet the developer is focused on delivering an experience as challenging as it is unforgettable. We could thus see Resonance appearing next week to announce a delay to next year, if only to allow it to shine all the brighter. Palworld 1.0 release date. With all the big announcements, I think back to Palworld, which exited early access this year. Pocket Pair already said that version 1.0 wouldn't just be randomly revealed on Discord, and it has a history of featuring on these big shows. So what better time to reveal all of the new content and release date than Summer Game Fest, with further info dumps planned for the upcoming months? Again, There's kind of a time limit given the elephant in the room called GTA 6, so it wouldn't be surprising if Pocket Pair decides on January 2027 of all months. Nivalis release window. At this time, developer Ion Lands posted a new update for its Cyberpunk restaurant management title, going over level design, visuals, how it's handling simulating thousands of characters, and more. However, one little bit stood out: the shift towards final polish ahead of release. From bug fixes to localization and optimization, the team has been busy. It will share a release date when it's ready, so a shadow drop seems unlikely, but at this stage, a release date still seems very possible, especially in the coming week. Light No Fire appearance. Of all the studios and publishers sweating about November and finding the right days to release their titles, Hello Games has it made. No Game Sky continues to succeed, and it continues to receive quality free updates that deepen the experience. So when it comes to Light No Fire, a small teaser could be released at Summer Games Fest with very little context, much less a release window, and still stand out. And if no one wants to feature an indie title that simply wants to remind people that it still exists, well, that's alright then, because development will roll on until something concrete. The point is, at the end of it all, Sean continues to hold all the cards. Minecraft Dungeons 2 release date. As if its first-party lineup for the coming months wasn't enough, Mojang's Minecraft Dungeon 2 is also launching in 2026. It's not a huge title by any means, but the original had 25 million players, so the prospect of new locations and a brand new threat could be appealing. And you just know it's going to be at the Xbox Game Showcase, showcasing its various new zones that totally weren't leaked a year ago.
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.